Okay, yeah, here we go. So I can do this. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so here's the snapshot. Yes, thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Unofficial from election.
You good there if I'm right here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I know we did before. What was your name?
Michael?
Good to see you again.
This one, you have actual members of the public that are interested in participating.
Yeah, there's always somebody.
I spoke with Cole downstairs with the pole training.
Oh, okay. Well,
And,
he's not with training, actually, with recruitment.
Oh, recruitment,
Uh-huh.
yes, yes.
And in fact, here's Cole right here.
Hello.
I was just mentioning how we're gonna try and figure out a way to, the public become more involved.
Oh,
'Cause, I mean,
goodness.
you know, he's got a hard job.
Yeah, there's a lot of people to recruit for a pretty tough day, that's for sure.
Big job here in San Diego.
Yeah, it sure is.
Some of the other counties I talked to, they have one of them has one precinct. So
Oh.
they count. The 1%
Right.
I know count.
Seen that
And
job
they do
for,
it
it was for the registrar / county clerk of Alpine County up there in Yosemite. I think they have 400 registered voters. It's
That's
like,
it.
I could run that whole thing myself.
Yeah. I had worked in Douglas County, Nebraska. I told staff here that before, but we drafted our poll workers there. So you didn't have to recruit. You had to obviously still train, but nobody could say no to that. And so you had your numbers, and then it was just a matter of making sure the training was sufficient, but kind of like for jury duty. So that made it a little bit easier.
Nice.
Step on my master copy. Okay, so we're gonna, our 1% manual tally as dictated by California Elections Code is a manual count of ballots that have already been scanned by our scanners. And we're just verifying the accuracy of our scanners. So we're going to manually count tally votes and ballots and see if our numbers match what was scanned on election night. Election night. So to do that, we're going to randomly select sequence numbers that correlate to our precincts. We had 1,522 polling places. 22. Yeah, and we always round up our 1%, so we're going to select 16 of those precincts today. And we're going to use our election day master list to match up the sequence numbers that you draw to a precinct number. We're going to record which community we drew from, which ballot type was at that poll, and then we're going to count all of the contests that are on all of those ballots. After we've done our random draw today, we're required to count what we call add-ons. So we had 65 contests countywide in this election. So once we've drawn these 16, if any of those 65 contests weren't included, then we'll get a list of which ballot types weren't included or which ballot types contain those contests from technical services, and then we'll randomly pick from those to make sure that we've actually included every single contest. Yes. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to count 1% of our mail batches or decks as of what was received yesterday. So we had, as of yesterday, approximately 730 mail batches. And as with the precincts, we round up, so we're going to draw 8 mail batches. And again, we'll check after we've done the draw when technical services pulls these ballots for us. They'll look at their reports of what they scanned and make sure all 65 contests are encompassed there. And again, if we missed any contests, they'll let me know which mail batches contain those contests, and we'll randomly select another one to count. If we don't get 65 contests in all these mail batches, that's sad. There's a lot of ballots in each of these batches, but we've had to do it before. We'll have add-ons. Do you have any questions before we?
Yeah, when is the actual counting?
Our tallying starts Monday. I think we're going to start at 9 o'clock on Monday, and then go from about 8:30 to 5 from Tuesday forward until we're done. After we finish the 1% manual tally of paper ballots, we do a 100% manual tally of every ballot that was cast in early voting on our touchscreens. So we use the touchscreen tape to look at those ballots cast, and we count those by hand as well.
Could you repeat that? The 100% of what?
All of the ballots cast on our early voting touchscreens. So early voting started here in the office at E-29, and the majority of that was done on touchscreens.
you know how many provisional ballots were the, question number one, were the ballots that came in from the polling places, do you pull the provisional ballots out of those ballot batches, precinct batches?
They come in separately to us, they're packed in a red bag, and we can't scan those until they've been processed and verified for eligibility.
Okay.
So they are not included in this at all?
They're not, but we're not doing an actual count of votes. What we're doing is a tally to measure the accuracy of the scanners.
Right, but provisionals are not in this batch.
But they will be scanned and counted.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
As,
Yeah,
if they're valid.
Yeah, as
and
the
able to
eligibility
be-
is determined.
Right.
Once the eligibility is determined, and so is that in process now, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a completely separate process from 1% manual tally. So
Right.
this is simply about manual tally
Okay,
today.
and
Just simply about picking the precincts to be
and the
tallied.
accuracy of the equipment and the machine.
Yeah,
Correct.
how accurate does that have to be? There has to be an exact thing, right?
Exact match.
The number, the exact match,
Yes.
because it's what it's supposed to
Correct,
count.
that's what it's
Exact-
checking for.
Oh, great.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll be the writer.
What happens if it's not, if it's fails?
This
You
is to
throw out
check
the
what,
machine?
this is to check whether it is or not, and that can be answered by Michael Vu.
From what I've seen, it's usually the people tallying that are wrong.
Yeah,
The
there
scanners
will
are-
be
We do a
rescanned.
couple of
Yeah, there will
recounts
be
by
rescanned.
And I brought copies of our procedure policy, so you can see what the procedures are, like you said, like Ray said, actually, if our talliers make a mistake, and by make a mistake, I mean if our talliers numbers don't match the scanners, we start by having our talliers recount, and there's a procedure written for that. Procedure.
You've gotten a lot better on this. I like this.
We try. Okay, so we're gonna start by drawing sequence numbers, so if you, so our sequence numbers are the numbers 1 through 1,522.
And those are what, the numbers that are gonna make up the precinct?
They're gonna let us know which precinct to draw, yeah, and I can give you a copy of this list too.
Oh, okay.
So for clarification, the difference between a sequence number and a precinct number is that precinct numbers assigned to each of the polls, or each of the precincts by, through our precinct assignments are not necessarily in numerical order. So we assign the first precinct as a sequence number 1 and all the way through.
Okay.
So the,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
what
the
we're
sequence
drawing
number
is
is a
sequence
little
numbers?
different than the precinct
So we're
number.
drawing
So
the-
we'll match them up.
The sequence, not
Correct.
the actual precinct.
Well,
number.
it'll match itself up. So we're going to, excuse me, I'm
No, go for it, go for it.
We are going to be pulling for sequence numbers. After we do all the polls, we'll match that sequence up to what that precinct is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you won't be looking at precinct numbers right now.
Not
No,
yet.
Not yet.
All we're
No,
doing is
eventually.
drawing
Yeah,
a sequence number, and each
And it
sequence is
matches
made
up
up
to
of
it.
three digits.
Well,
right?
up through 1522. So our very highest sequence number is
Oh.
how many precincts we had.
But you only have 3.
Oh, well, yeah, I think thousands.
Oh, so each number is made up of 4 digits. Okay,
up to-
okay, now we got it.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Everybody good?
So, let's start by drawing a 1 digit. Hold it. No peeking, you can close your eyes or look away.
Ones,
Mhm. Is that a
9 on
9?
the
is
bottom.
that a 9?
Hold it up to the camera, please. Thank you.
Oh, it's nice, you can get it on the phone now.
Where do we put these, or it doesn't matter anymore?
Yeah, we're gonna put it back in as soon as we draw the next one. Okay, so now we'll draw our 10 digit.
No peekings there, Pat. You don't want to flip the system.
Our 10 digit is a 2. Hundreds digit is also a 2. And so for the thousands digit, you'll draw either a 0 or a 1. 0 means it will go sequence 229, and the 1 will give us sequence 1.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay, that's 1, so that's sequence 1229. Okay, so let's put our ping pong ball back. I'm going to make sure.
One,
we
Yeah,
bring
the color.
black,
Yeah.
one.
color.
So the green one is the thousand.
Oh, we can put them up here in
Our one
Two?
digit is a 2.
Put it on the lid.
Oh, I see.
Our tens digit is a 3. Our hundreds digit is a 0. And our thousands is a 0, so that gives us sequence 32. Should we switch seats?
Does anyone object if we just switch seats and that way Pat can be right in front of these boxes and
Oh, yeah,
Paul can be,
Oh,
it'll
so
make a
he
little
doesn't
bit
have
more
to be-
sense?
Doesn't have to be, pulling him over here.
Great, thanks.
Whatever works best.
Actually, Pat, you can sit where Cole is sitting,
You sit here and I'll sit there.
Oh,
because you're gonna pick the numbers.
Okay, so I'll put these back
So
in.
we put those back in there. There we go, that might be a little less awkward.
Okay, so our third sequence number. The ones digit is a 7.
where is that?
Number, or the line on
So
the
nine.
bottom.
Tens digit is a 9.
Five.
Hundreds is a 5. And from there, we are gonna, since we can't draw the 1, it's just gonna be sequence 597. Because if you drew a 1, that would give us 1,597, and that's 2.
That's too high.
That's
huh?
too much.
Oh,
So we don't
we
need to
just
draw
have to-
thousands there. This is, our third sequence is gonna be 597. Sequence number 7, the ones digit is a 7.
Three.
Tens digit is a 3. Yeah, no, everyone sees it. The hundreds is a 6. And again, we don't need to draw a
Oh,
thousands
it's two.
digit because that's sequence 637. Okay, ones digit is a 4. Our tens digit is a 5. Hundreds digit is a 4. And you can go ahead and drop in the thousands. And it's a 1, so that's sequence 1, 4, 5, 4. Ones digit is a 1. Tens digit is a 9. Hundreds digit is a 9, and we'll stop right there. That's sequence 991. Ones digit is an 8. Tens digit is a 6. Hundreds digit is a 3, and we can go ahead and drop in the thousands container. And that's a 0, so this is sequence 368.
3, 6, 8. Everybody's writing the numbers. 7.
But ones is a 7. Tens digit is a 5.
8.
Hundreds digit is an 8, and we'll stop right there. That's sequence 857. Our ones digit is an 8. Our tens digit is a 1. Hundreds digit is a 4. And that's 1 in the thousands place, so that's sequence 1418.
3.
3 is our ones digit.
6.
6 is our tens digit. 3 is our hundreds digit. And 0. So that's sequence 363.
1.
Ones digit is a 1. Tens digit is a 3. Hundreds digit is a 4. And our thousands digit is a 1. So that's sequence 1431.
Oh, Clarification, please. We want the number prior to this, there was a 0 that was in the thousands
Yes,
place, so.
it was sequence 363.
363.
Our ones digit is a 2. Our tens digit is a 3. Our hundreds digit is a 3. And our thousands digit is a 1. So that's sequence 1332. Our ones digit is a 7. Our tens digit is a 7. Hundreds digit is an 8, and we don't need to draw 1,000. Our sequence number is 877. Our ones
Hang in there.
digit is an 8.
It's going great.
Our tens digit is a 1. Our hundreds digit is a 4. And that's a 0, so that's sequence 418. Okay, our ones digit is a 6. Our tens digit is an 8. Our hundreds digit is a 6.
Oh, that's too high.
And that's it, you're right. All right, one more.
Everybody got that?
686. So that's- our ones digit is a 0. Our tens digit is a 7. Our hundreds digit is a 6, and we'll stop right there. That's sequence 670. So let me just read them all back. The first sequence number is 1229. The second sequence number is 32. The third sequence is 597. The fourth is 637. The fifth sequence number is 1454. The sixth one is 991. The seventh sequence is 368. The eighth is 857. The ninth is 1418. The 10th is 363. The 11th is 1431. The 12th is 1332. The 13th is 877. The 14th is 418. The 15th is 686. And the 16th is 670.
Oh, and that's all we need to do?
For the
For the
precincts,
precincts,
we're still gonna draw
we get
some
to do more.
mail decks, but first if I can have you print your name and sign and date. And then let's go ahead and correlate those now before we draw the mail patches.
What does that mean?
I
Oh,
have 2 copies of that.
I only put
That
it
means
in.
turn them into a precinct.
Oh,
Oh,
grab
now
another
you
one.
find
Yeah,
out.
One on my
precincts.
desk.
Yeah,
Okay.
can you grab it, please? Is it the same version?
Oh, no, mine's different, never mind.
I'll
Mine's
just
the
go
other
print
side.
mine.
Okay, if you don't mind. Does anyone else want to look at that while we're reading precincts and,
No, because we can always check it.
yep, you sure can. Thanks, just one. Next, I'll be right back in.
So just to be clear, you got the last night's results on that disc?
Yeah, just.
Have you
Can
checked the
one
disc
get
yet?
copies of this or no?
Aaron,
I'm gonna go get my computer
Aaron
just so
will-
that I can make a copy of whatever data is on
You can
there.
get a copy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I should ask her.
Right back.
Yeah, is that what you're saying? Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice to know, like, any questions, where they were.
Yeah, precinct breakdowns.
That's possible, yeah, that'd be great to have.
Then it shows you also like which locations were double folds.
Oh, yeah,
Right
that would
there.
be nice to see.
Like if you, there's a column.
Oh, it'd be great to have a copy of this, yeah. Maybe she won't need these afterwards. She can just, let me have all those. So these are the ones for the, yeah, these are the regular 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the 1%. And the other one's gonna be,
Trouble.
the ones for, the other one's gonna be for the other contests, is that right?
And you're gonna write them down? Okay. Oh, is my ruler in the back?
So we have a second.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, first sequence 1229. So you're gonna
Here.
double check that she's.
And 229. That's precinct 487000. The community
That's okay.
is La Mesa.
Do you get both of them or just the first?
No, this was a double poll, but
Yeah.
this is the precinct number that correlates to that sequence number. It was
Oh,
one,
so
two,
you
two.
only get one of them, huh?
Right.
We do, yeah. Community was La Mesa and the ballot type is 148.
148.
148.
Thanks. And the next, good to go. Next sequence is 32.
2. The precinct number is 110150.
110150.
And the city is San Diego.
Okay,
And ballot type is 77.
got it.
Okay.
Third sequence is 597.
That is precinct 376700,
376700.
city of San Diego,
Yep,
ballot type 204.
204. Okay. Sequence 4 is 637.
That is 403500,
403,500.
city of Oceanside, ballot type 56.
I can't read it on my drive.
56. Okay. Sequence 5 is 1454.
Perfect, thank you. 1454 is precinct 549280,
549280. Got it.
city of Lakeside,
Okay.
and ballot type 10.
10. Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Sequence 6, 991.
One is precinct 442800.
442800.
That's Imperial Beach.
Okay.
Ballot type 105.
5. Okay. Sequence 7 is 368.
That is precinct 240000.
240000.
That's San Diego.
Okay.
Ballot type 116.
116. Sequence 8857.
Oh, wrong page.
I haven't opened it yet, I'm copying it real quick.
Oh,
It
okay.
seems to be copying fine, I can see it
No,
on
I
the,
think
No
this drive is
trouble.
bad, because I had trouble with it before.
That's precinct
I'll open it just a
420.
sec, is it text file?
520?
It's a, yeah, CSV, huge.
420520.
I can open it using
Follow.
a spreadsheet.
No.
Ballot type
Way too
47.
big.
I'm sorry.
Ballot type 47.
Thank you.
Okay. Just
Sequence 9, 1418.
see if you can put it on. And how big is it?
124
hold on.
megabytes.
Would you guys mind either just whisper, sorry, 1418.
Sorry, 1418 is precinct 538500.
538500.
Chula Vista,
And ballot type
182.
182.
182.
Thank you. Okay. And sequence 10 is 363.
Okay, that's 363 is precinct 237200,
237200.
San Diego. Ballot type 116.
116.
116.
Thank you.
Oh no, that's two of the same ballot type. That's not gonna give us a
Sequence 11, 1431.
1431. Oh, 1143.
431.
31 is precinct 546600.
546600.
Ramona. Ballot type 4. Good picks. The more you get these outlying areas, like we have two of the same ballot type, that's how we get more of the contests and less of the add-ons.
Oh, good, yeah, you don't have.
Whenever they voted on Ramona, now we don't have to pull it extra.
Okay, and so sequence 12, 1332.
32. That's precinct 528200.
528200.
Chula Vista. Ballot type 181.
181. Nice. Number 13, sequence 877.
877. Okay, that's precinct 423900.
423900.
Vista, City of Vista. Ballot type 52.
52.
Yes.
Okay. Number 14, 418.
All right, that's precinct 270510.
270510.
Huh?
No, this is just on text.
Yeah, that's good.
San Diego.
That's what it looks like.
Ballot type 128.
Very repetitive.
128.
128.
Thank you. And number 15 is sequence 686.
86. That is precinct 405 400.
405 400.
Oceanside. Ballot type 56.
56.
Yes.
Okay. And the 16th sequence is 670.
670. That's precinct 404230.
404230.
Yeah, Oceanside.
Okay.
Ballot type 56.
I'm happy about that one, huh?
Well, we knew we were gonna have add-ons. There's always add-ons with 65 contests.
Sorry,
Hey, you pulled us a
No,
full
no, 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 no. It's totally fine.
Why was that funny? What did you say?
Just they're
Well,
both precincts and
not
Oceanside
enough
ballot,
variety.
same ballot types.
Yeah, the
Same
more
ballot.
variety we get, the fewer add-ons we get.
So that's-
So now we have
it's
to add
interesting
more.
what gives registrar voter workers little thrills.
We are a strange breed.
Growing going on over here.
Okay.
All right, so now we just have to draw 8 mail batches. So there's not going to be a thousands digit, and the highest hundreds digit we can draw is 7. So we can close up the thousands, and from the hundreds we can pull the 8 and the 9.
Oh, these are the mail-in ballots.
Yeah, so we're drawing numbers between 1 and 730.
1 to 730, huh?
Yeah.
So you have 730 billets of mail
Yeah,
ballots?
Sorry?
I said you had 730 billets of mail ballots?
We call them batches or decks, yeah, and it's roughly.
Does that include the
730.
ones that came in on election day?
Definitely.
Yes, excuse me, up to election.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're not getting 1% of the total, only 1% of the ones
What you
received so
have now.
far? Isn't that kind of, so it's less than 1% of the total then?
I'd have to look at the code again, but I think it's 1% of what we have on
Have
election
by
day.
election day.
So there's 730 batches, and how
Hold on, 8
many?
and 9, just to see.
Thank
What,
you.
no, you have them, but you're just saying you haven't validated them yet, so you don't know if you have them, is that right?
Right.
But
They're not
have you
being
counted
yet.
all the mail-in ballots that you've received at this point?
Well, there's 2 ways to look at that. Counted as in, we haven't included them in the tally yet. They haven't been, because they haven't been opened yet.
They haven't been validated for the count.
We have an estimate of how many we have that we have to go through and validate, signature check before we can actually scan them and count them.
Okay, so if you were being, what do they call it, conservative, you would, the number 1% would be, you would include more batches because you'd have to include 1% of the entire total instead of just 1%.
We'd have to wait until we had opened all of them and knew how many of them were counted.
Or you could say, worst case, the number of batches that we'll have will include all of them.
We could, but
And
that's
then-
not how our procedures are written.
Okay, so you're taking the, you're trying to get at this
Can you
few.
find the language in the procedure? That might
Oh,
be the
in here?
first step.
How many ballots are per batch?
There's about 400
400-ish.
So
approximately.
you just measured by the height.
It's just the size of the box,
Mhm.
the size of the carton we
Okay,
put
so
them in.
approximately 400 ballots
batch.
per.
Where, it doesn't say anything in here that I see about the, is it in here about the, the ballots that are coming in?
And this
Maybe section
number
4?
is just the ones that,
Or,
Maybe.
that
To
are
cover
just the
all
ones that
remaining?
so far have been,
These are the remaining contests, so that's why I was
To be
saying,
counted.
remember, if these
No,
ballot types that we drew
yeah,
don't
that's-
include all the
And there's-
contests, that's what section 4 applies.
Oh, okay.
so it doesn't really apply to, this procedure here seems
Do you
to
have
apply
it?
to
Right here.
the vote by mail ballots. It doesn't talk about batches or anything.
2012.
No, this isn't.
So if you have, the 280,000 ballots that are still uncounted according to your website, is that the estimate of how many, if they were all validated, like the number of, that were coming in? Okay, and how many do you think, well, it would be in this thing here, but I would have to take some time to total it up. How many vote by mail ballots are, let's see, wait. Oh, so,
We have-
according to these numbers right here, the number that you're gonna pull,
Mhm.
that's based on having something like 730 mail batches, it says, right?
Right,
And how many are approximately in each batch?
about 400.
400.
Okay. So we have, 730, 730 times 400. 730.
62.
730 times, here we go, 400
Mm-hmm.
equals.
should we?
So what we're gonna
280,000.
do, once you get that
Then-
number, we'll go ahead and we'll do this as we currently have it, and then if, there needs to be further
That's what I'm saying.
conversation about how we,
Revised procedures, I think that's
Yeah.
what, for conversation.
yeah. So we'll go forward right now with going ahead, picking as we,
Well, that may be right, because
Have.
when I multiply 730 times
Uh-huh.
400, I get 292,000.
Right, and that is.
That's
what-
about what's not been counted yet, and
Uh-huh.
so maybe that includes these. That would make sense then, yeah, maybe you guys are doing, a great job.
Oh, but the.
really?
That's
Really?
I thought I was gonna catch you there.
You sure you want me recording it?
That might be the nicest thing you've ever said.
I thought I was gonna catch you there, I was like, gonna really catch
These
you.
are mail-in ballots. What about the provisional number? Does that include provisionals?
No.
Well, it may be different number. In
Yeah.
other words,
Yeah,
they may
see,
have to
it's
choose twice as many
uncounted.
as they think on there, or they're doing it right.
So what we're going to do is move forward with our procedure as we have it now. We're
Okay.
certainly open and welcome
Yeah, 'cause it's
to
not really
talking
written in the
after this
procedure.
about,
Oh, it's not.
modifications.
Right.
Okay.
But as
So
far
we'll
as
go
you
ahead.
know, the mail-in ballots that were delivered on election day are not included in the billets that you're counting for this random recount.
Sorry, say that again?
As far as you know,
Or-
as far as
What
you
he's
know,
asking.
the mail-in ballots that were delivered to the polls on election day are not included in the billets that are gonna be included in this manual 1% recount.
Correct, because we still have to signature check all those and make sure they're eligible to be counted, but we're gonna
Right.
pull these ballots as soon as we selected which batches we're gonna pick. I'm gonna take this down to technical services and he's going to pull these ballots for us to count. And the ones that came in yesterday haven't been opened or scanned.
They're not processed
So he
at
couldn't
all.
give them to us to count.
So actually, I'll take that back. I think that the number should be 16 instead of 8. If you're gonna include the same number in each batch, because that's sort of arbitrary number, because you should be sampling more of those than you are, because you're not sampling 1% of the total number.
So up until election day. So it's a timing, but again, that is a conversation for you guys
Right.
to have, not with the people in this room.
Right, we'll talk to Michael Vu or somebody in charge of the
Let's see if we can get
procedure.
another about 8.
But at least I
So we're
think,
gonna-
I think we're clear about the fact that what we're doing right now doesn't include all of what you just mentioned, all the stuff that's included, brought in on
It
election
doesn't
day.
include the provisional ballots on
So,
election day, nor
again-
does it include the
So to
mail-in
be
ballots on
clear-
election day.
So to be
And
clear
maybe a bunch of
though,
other ones.
we're not trying to count votes cast. We are making sure that what we have is an actual match manually to what the machine counted in these. And then additionally, we will, same thing with the mail decks, find any contests that aren't included in these numbers, and we will also have to count those as
Right,
well.
we're only
as our
checking the
average.
accuracy of the machines that are counting
Yeah,
the ballots.
not how many votes
Not how
came
many
in,
votes,
not how many
right.
I
votes.
totally agree and understand that, it's just that with leaving out specific subsets of the total, you end up with the potential, especially because those subsets would tend to swing one way or the other, that your machine may not be catching certain types of voting accurately.
So I totally hear what you're saying
And
as
since
well.
the state law does say it's 1%, and if you're not doing 1%, then you're not really following the law.
So again,
So we'll have
we'll
to deal
move
with that.
forward with how we are
Sure.
currently.
Code says 1% of precincts, so it doesn't actually speak to the mail.
Right.
Well,
For the precincts.
But
is
as you
zero.
said,
I'm gonna,
Commission
you
of
know what,
Procedures
we're
are
gonna
gonna
go
go
ahead right now.
So we wanna get this
doesn't
down to
even talk
technical
about mail-in
service.
ballots, so we
Right.
have to.
So this is purely our procedure for
I know.
what we're doing here.
So we'll have to raise those issues separately.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So now this is the
We just
numbers
gave you
from
something new to
1
look
to
forward to.
16, right?
got dog with a bone.
So,
So
we are all
what's
ready to
gonna-
move forward here, and there is now fewer
Yeah,
boxes.
and Cole
that-
pulled the 8 and the 9 from the hundreds.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so let's start with the ones digit.
Okay, we ready? 5,
5 is our ones digit.
7,
7 is our tens digit.
4,
And 4 is our hundreds, so that's batch 475. 3 is our ones digit. 7 is our tens digit. And 1 is our hundreds, so that's batch 173. 4 is our ones digit. 7 is our tens digit. And 5 is our hundreds digit. 9
yeah.
is the ones digit. 1 is the tens digit. And 7 is the hundreds digit, so that's batch 719. 2 is our ones digit. 3 is the tens digit. And 1 is the hundreds digit, so that's batch 132. 8 is our ones digit. 9 is our tens digit. And 1 is our hundreds digit, so that's batch 198. 198. 0 is our ones digit. 4 is our tens digit. And 6 is our hundreds digit, so that's batch 640. 7 is the ones digit. 5 is the 10th digit,
Oh, that's the last one.
and 4 is the 100th digit, so that's batch 457.
No.
457.
Oh, you're starting at the bottom.
457.
No, we went. Oh, wait.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, I thought you
Just
were gonna read
repeating.
them all.
She just repeated.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you happen to draw 475 as the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So
No, I
the
thought you were
first-
gonna read them all again.
I will, yeah. So the first
You're a step ahead of us.
batch is 475.
Mhm.
The second one is 173. The third is 574. The fourth is 719. The fifth is 132. The sixth is 198. The seventh is 640. And the eighth is 457. All right, and if I can have you print and sign a date there as well. Did you say you were a coworker? Yeah.
Not this year, I didn't quite make it. I wish I had, because I know I didn't have enough.
It was busy out there, yeah. But the good news is, as a participant and as part of the process, we get to give you an election pin, which, as you know, you can only get as a poll worker. So we have an election pin for you
Oh, that'd be
for your
nice.
collection.
Hey.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's cool.
Retail value less than $1.
These are limited edition.
It is actually.
They're hard to get. You have to do a lot of work to get one of those.
So,
Yeah, this was not.
as a
right.
conscientious taxpayer, you can know we're not spending too much on you.
Yes, I see that.
Can I ask you a few
Thank
more
you.
questions? These numbers that we just selected, those refer to batches that have already been numbered?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, that's
and-
the actual
and are-
batch number, we don't have sequence
Batch
numbers.
numbers, not
Those are the
secret for
actual
mail
batch
ballots, because
numbers.
they all come in from any precinct.
And they're mixed,
anywhere.
they're all mixed precincts in a batch, they're
They
all
are.
mixed up.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and, all right. Okay, those have already been set aside and they're already numbered. I guess that's the end of my question.
And what,
So if we're lucky, again, because those come from all over the county.
right,
they're
at what
processed together.
point will you know then, if you've gotten every contest?
I asked technical services for that information. It's my understanding that he has totals for each batch of what he scanned, and so he'll let me know
Oh,
if,
he'll know which
you know,
precincts
if
has
in
been
these
for
400
which
ballots and these
contest.
400 ballots, if there's any contests that we've missed. We have had to do add-ons to mail ballots before. You would
Really?
think you'd get a random
Oh, you
shuffle
think
in
you'd
all
get-
of those, but
wow.
sometimes we'll do add-ons.
So when will you do how long will it take to talk to technical services and get that information?
The wonderful man who always calculated our add-ons retired. So Charlie's looking at his software this weekend. So I'm not sure if
We have to have
next
tally
week.
sheets made by Monday morning, so.
For
that's
these,
all right.
yeah. So this will keep us busy
Yeah.
before we even get to add-ons. But I can.
And then you'll redraw for any extra that you need?
Yes.
Is that public also?
It can be, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we don't advertise it to the public because again, code doesn't. It says actually in code, elections officials will randomly select them.
Generally, how many more do you have to draw?
There's not a generally. It's totally random.
Totally different.
We have no idea. I have no idea which
So you don't
contests
know
are.
if you're gonna.
It's usually a few more though.
Usually some add-ons for sure.
Okay.
Especially for the precincts.
Because we drew the same ballot type a couple different
Yeah.
times. If you want, we can email you as soon as we
And
That
there
would
would be
be-
any different ballot types. You have to have you don't have to have a different, full set of ballot types.
No, we
No.
just have to include every contest.
Oh, okay.
Because they have to check the machine for every contest.
Right.
Yeah, this is really, you have a complexity factor on this election that's sky high.
I think we've had more than 65. I feel like I wasn't terribly afraid of
But
65.
Uh-huh.
it's a pretty
It's-
tough job here in San Diego County. It's one of the harder
Yeah.
ones.
I think we're the 8th largest
Yeah.
jurisdiction in the country.
Yeah.
Wow, really, in the country.
I believe
I
so.
know that San Diego County, it's interesting fact, has as many people as Iowa.
But we have more people who can PD than Alaska. All of Alaska.
Area-wise, we're the size of.
Is that
the state of
true?
Connecticut.
Yeah, there's like
So,
there's
when we have to
like
dispatch
250,000
county
people in
Well,
PD.
there's in Alpine and Fallbrook and.
Isn't that crazy?
Like say, well,
And
but
I did not know that.
Iowa
Is that
has
where you would-
99 counties.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
just
just know that
noticed
number.
I
that.
think Connecticut
Yeah.
has 48, because when I found out size-wise, we're the size of Connecticut, I was like, well, how many voting jurisdictions does Connecticut have? How come they're not just one jurisdiction, like the size of San Diego. So.
Okay,
Thank you very
so,
much.
Thank you.
there we go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah,
Wear your pin with pride. We all took ours off after yesterday.
I keep my post in my office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all.
Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
know
We'll see
if
you
I,
Monday.
if I could have one of these lists.
As far as I'm concerned, you
Yes,
have this one, right?
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
One of
Thank you
these.
so much.
Mhm.
Yeah. That'll be a really.
That's really
read.
pared down just for this particular, activity. I mean, there are many hidden columns in that based on,
Oh,
you know,
the
but this would-
columns,
this was-
but all
This
the
was strictly
precincts are
what we
there.
needed for today here. but
This is
yeah.
all of San Diego County precincts then?
Yep, for
Oh,
this
wonderful.
election. So
Okay.
they'll look a little bit different than that, very likely for the November election. So this is
Oh, they would be
specific to
different.
this
Okay.
election. Mhm.
Now, these are all the ones that were active.
Correct. Yep. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
It was nice
all.
meeting you.
Yeah, nice seeing you.
It was nice to see you guys again. See you Monday, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll be interested actually to visit if you've got some great ideas for recruitment of additional
Yeah,
poll
I'll
workers.
take that back to my team
Yeah.